Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts with breaking news.
Well, that breaking news this morning, one person is in the hospital after an early morning shooting. It happened here near 13th in Missouri just before 1:30 this morning. Authorities who spoke to our photographer on scene say they believe the shooting took place in an alley. The victim was a teenager who was shot by a man in his 20s. Stay with First Alert 6 both on air and online as we work to find out more information.
All right, it's good to have you with us early on our First Alert 6 streaming on this Wednesday. I'm Erin Hartley. I'm
Cerise Coleman with meteorologist Jared Lansford, senior chief meteorologist Rusty Lord, and we have been on a beautiful roll with all this warm weather. Turns out, could be the warmest February ever.
Yeah, we're trending that way. We'll see what the weekend says about it, but at least the start of the first 17 days of the month, this is the warmest we have ever been in February, this deep into February. 41.1 degrees is the average temperature thus far, and we're going to add to that today and likely stay tops on the list through 18 days of the month before we start to see things cool off a little bit for the weekend, but still nothing atrocious. You got beautiful sunrise out there, 45 degrees, west wind at about 14 miles per hour. 39 is what it feels like. But again, even that 39 is right around our average high this time of year. So 40's out the door. You can probably get by with just a jacket again. There are a couple of 30s on the west side of the map where you might want a little heavier coat. Gusts right now aren't doing much. They're up near 30 miles per hour in our northern counties, just hit 26 in Omaha. But these will try to pick up a little bit more again today, and they'll gust 25 to 30 over much of the day. And they'll also dry the air out. This will drag in some very dry air from the west as it rolls off the mountains, and it can dry out and warm up quickly. The dew point is already low, down in the 20s. Look at teens and single digits to the west. That is some incredibly dry air, and that's why the fire danger is going to be up there again today. Now, the wind won't be as strong as yesterday, but it's still going to be noteworthy, so you want to be mindful. That's why the burn bans are continuing in many spots, because these conditions, fires can get away with the dry air and dry vegetation. So as we go through the course of the day, clear skies to start. Some high clouds try to move in by noon. We're already up near 60, and then we get 60s the majority of the afternoon, topping out about 66 degrees. One more really comfortable day to be outside, soak up the sunshine. 50s and 60s all across the area. By 7 o'clock tonight, some high clouds try to filter in, especially after 10. And that'll lead us into this next opportunity for some precipitation. Boy, do we need it. Now, a lot of what you see here by 7 a.m. probably isn't reaching the ground. The low levels are going to be pretty dry. Remember all the dry air I just showed you? That's coming in. This will be rolling over top of it. It's going to take a little while to saturate. But back here, this will roll in Thursday during the course of the day. And that's why we made it a First Alert 6 weather day. I still don't see big amounts of snow, but we're looking at impacts where a high of 42 is going to feel a lot different. The wind is going to pick up, and the temperature will drop Thursday evening, leading to a cold day Friday. So First Alert 6 weather day on Thursday, the way things are looking here. Snow chances will increase into the afternoon, and then most of it will try to fall after sunset, at least in the metro. Highest accumulations probably north of the metro, but the wind gusts, those up near 40 miles per hour, especially from the evening commute onward. Try to blow the snow around a little bit too.
All right, definitely paying attention. So how much snow do you think we can get out of this, and chances beyond tomorrow?
I tell you what, it's been 2 weeks since we've even mentioned anything that remotely is close to winter. And that's why this one's a little more noteworthy. Overall, to me, the forecast hasn't changed much over the last couple of days, but we decided to issue a First Alert 6 weather day just because of the impacts of this inch or less, and the likelihood that it's going to be a little greater to the north. I think you don't have to travel too far to the north where 1 to 2 to 3, maybe even 4 inches of snow start to add up in some spots in our northern counties here. It could be a very quick increase in snowfall as you go north, or a sharp drop off as you go south. Either way you want to look at it. Probably won't get anything in our southern counties. So it's in Omaha, the I-80 corridor, and north. Most of this after 3 o'clock. And then the winds that I mentioned for Thursday, look how they'll be 25 to 30 most of the day with the gusts, but then they pick up at night. That's the backside of the system. That's the snow that we'll get in the metro swinging through, and creates a window there for Thursday evening where the worst of the commute, worst of the traffic will be. I don't think it's going to be undrivable, but again, we've had 50s, 60s, and 70s for a while. This is going to be a little shock to the system, and it drops our numbers back in the 30s for the weekend for highs. That is below average. We haven't had below average highs for nearly 2 weeks, and then we'll try to rebound again next week with 50s and 60s. You were mentioning when we were forecasting, Jared, that spike on Tuesday showing up more and more could get right up back near 60.
Yeah, it is short-lived. Our cold snap.
Yeah, it's not even that bad. It's about where we should be.
Imagine that, where we should be.
Yeah,
all right, let's get a check of traffic around. Things looking much better than this time yesterday, Jared.
Yeah, if you remember yesterday, we were dealing with crashes on the JFK, on I-80. Neither of those spots have crashes right now.
Look at that.
So far, we haven't had any reports of crashes that have come in. So that's good news. We're just seeing things pick up in a few spots, and as such, it's slowing down some. This is what it looks like on 370. As you look there in the horizon, you're seeing more and more vehicles that are showing up. So it's getting pretty busy as you're approaching the interstate on Highway 370. Be ready for it to maybe slow down at times as you're heading through that stretch. There it is. You can see that batch of yellow as people are heading toward the interstate. And a lot of our slowdowns are pretty close to I-80. Southbound on 144th as you're going from about Harrison down toward I-80, likely going to be looking at some slower speeds, maybe knock about 5 miles per hour off of what you would normally use through that area, and that's what you can expect for your speeds. We've at times had that take place on L Street approaching 120th. That is a very busy intersection. Right now looking a little better than it was, but don't be surprised if things do slow down again in that area. And similar case for the JFK right near I-80, where at the moment looks pretty good, but as you're going along that ramp, things could start slowing down again as we continue to bring the next wave of traffic into that area. It's a pretty smooth map of how things are going. There's that 144th I mentioned. Little slow on Maple right around the 72nd area or so, but nothing major that you need to be worried about, at least at this point. If that changes, of course, I'll first alert you to that. We'll also talk about some new areas where there's some construction. There's a new road closure on a route that people do use some to try to get around some of the heavier traffic roads. We'll take a look at where those are in a bit.
All right, Jared, thank you. Back to news now. Omaha police say an 11-year-old was taken to the hospital after they were hit by a car. The crash happened in the area of 13th and Center. According to police, the driver was unable to stop when that child tried to cross the street mid-block. Police say he did suffer serious but not life-threatening injuries.
An update to first alert you to this morning. One of the people accused in the death of a Nebraska couple and their unborn child is denied a bond reduction. Sadie Titus' bond is at $1 million. Titus is charged with accessory to murder, among other charges. She's accused of helping her husband, Sterling James, hide the bodies of Hannah Neville and Roberto Tanner. James is charged with 2 counts of murder as well as the murder of an unborn child. Titus' next court appearance is early next month. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are taking a live look outside. Look at all that sunshine. Be sure and grab those sunglasses. Looks like you're going to need them this morning, but we're off to such a mild start, close to 50 degrees already. I've been calling it the last hurrah all day because we have been on such a wonderful warm streak, and today's at least for a minute.
It's been a really good 2 weeks. I hope you can get out and enjoy today. It'll be noticeably different tomorrow. Clouds, colder air, and some snow back in play. So enjoy today. We're going to climb into the 60s with all that sunshine. That tops our weather headlines. Probably just short of a record, but still great nonetheless. Snow late tomorrow, windy conditions. We made it a first alert 6 weather day now just to the overall impacts. And then this weekend, temperatures are going to stay below average behind that system. You can see gusts have been strongest up to our north overnight, up near 40 miles per hour in much of South Dakota, western Minnesota. We're going to see the winds pick up a little bit for us. I think we'll get our gusts out of the west today up near 25 to 30 miles per hour. That'll keep the fire danger fairly elevated today. And then overnight, it becomes a northeast wind, and that too by tomorrow morning could be gusting 30 miles per hour. We'll go to 66 for the afternoon high today. Should be phenomenal, down into the 30s by tomorrow morning, and that sets the stage for this first alert 6 weather day. 42 for the high. Again, it's going to vary a lot across the area, probably colder west, a little warmer east. But snow chances will increase into the afternoon. Most of it will try to fall after sunset and a little deeper into the evening. Highest accumulations will be north of the metro, and gusts up near 40 miles per hour on the backside of it will bring colder temperatures. So we said after 3 o'clock most of the metro snow would be, and it might even be closer to 5 or 6 before it gets started, but an inch or less. Bigger totals to the north where it gets started a little earlier, as much as 1 around Columbus, Fremont, and Blair. Then that goes up a little bit more as you go farther north. Could even be a little bit more yet just outside the viewing area. But overall, we are looking at the first hint of winter, or taste of winter, that we've had in almost 2 weeks. Let's talk about the wind that goes with that snow, though. It'll be out of the northeast and not snowing in the morning. North wind by noon, already picking up in some of our western counties. By 4 or 5 o'clock, there you go. Anytime the wind starts to flip and go northwest, picks up over 30 miles per hour, that will be blowing around any snow that'll be falling. Again, mostly in our northern counties where gusts will get up near 40 miles per hour pretty deep into the evening. And then as we go through the overnight, it's still going to be there overnight heading into Friday morning, and that'll drag the cooler air in. 32 Friday, 36 Saturday, 33 on Sunday. Sunday's been trending colder, as a matter of fact, with below average temperatures. Again, haven't said that in nearly 2 weeks. And that's what we'll get this upcoming weekend. Not like the last 2 weekends.
So tomorrow, is that it? I think it's what a lot of people want to know. Or do we take that sharp dive back into winter?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is this a little blip, or are we going to see some more warmth return? It's the end of February by the end of this 10-day forecast. We get about 4 to 5 days here where it feels like winter. Then we're back up again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, back above average for the rest of next week, and even beyond into early March. Warmer than average, still winning out in the longer range forecast. So we're looking at a pretty good overall stretch of weather. You just know it had to come to an end sometime. We're still in February. We'll get a taste of it. We'll see what we can do with snow chances too. We need some moisture. We'll take what we can get tomorrow and see what next week brings.
Yeah, so long, nice temperatures.
Yeah, they try to come
we'll
back.
See you soon.
Probably not this good.
All right, there's a hazard in Midtown we need to know about.
Yeah, if you're using Dodge, you want to keep an eye out for something that's happening here. I'm going to try to be quick here because it's that camera on the top left. I've had to zoom it in quite a bit, and it's windy, and I don't want to make you all sick. So we're going to touch on this quick, and then we'll move to the map. Here's what we're looking at, and you can see right here this kind of flashing lights blocking the right-hand lane in that area. So you have to merge over to the left and not be in that far lane there to avoid this. We've had some slowdowns that have been showing up as people try to make their way through that stretch. So again, stay left. That's right near Lincoln that we're talking about. So just before you get to 30th, heading on Dodge there, just past 480. Watch for that being an area where you could have some issues. A couple of other things that you want to have in the back of your mind as you're heading out this morning. We do have a road closure on Underwood. This is right at the intersection with 65th. I know a lot of people do use Underwood to go east and west through this part of the metro. You won't be able to do that for the rest of the week, at least in this part of the metro. You'll need an alternate route, such as Western through Saturday is how long that's scheduled. And then you've got one-lane travel, center westbound around 46th. That's scheduled to have that one-lane travel through the beginning of next week, as well as northbound 90th as you're a little north of center near Dorcas is where that is going to be in place, and that is scheduled through Monday. So a few different areas where we have new work that's happening. Watch for maybe some delays as a result of that. Also watch maybe some sun glare impact as you're heading along some of those eastbound roads. That could be bright this morning.
Yeah, once again, grab those sunglasses, Jared. Thank you. Well, coming up, fish fry season starts today, but prices are going up.
I'll tell you why when we return.
Yeah, they're cute.
Go back up to 7. Go back up to 7.
Welcome back, everybody. The deep fryers are warming up for the start of Lenten fish fries today on Ash Wednesday. You may have noticed, though, the price you're paying has gone up over the last few years.
So there's a couple of reasons why fish prices can fluctuate heavily depending on the catch quantities, weather, or even foreign wars. A lot of the frozen sea fish used for the fish fries comes actually from Russia. Experts say the war is limiting what is available to us. So if you notice your local church is charging more and more every single year, they're likely not hiking those prices by a choice.
I would have never guessed a fish is coming from Russia.
Interesting.
That was the last spot I was imagining.
No, all right. Huh.
You're talking about some good fish fries earlier.
Yeah,
about some spots.
Mary, our queen, has a really big one. 10, 15 years ago, I went to that one with some friends, and yeah, there's a lot of people. Lines out the door for that one.
In Papillion at St. Columkill, the line, I mean, it's like, oh, don't go that way if you don't want to go that fish fry. You just go all the way around because people line up to get that fish. Yeah.
Just you go there, have a cold beer, some French fries, and some fish, and you're pretty good.
Sounds really good right now, doesn't it? Yeah.
I hear we have
Even for breakfast. No, we don't have any. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. Of course, you can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
Have a great start to your Wednesday.